what's up? Um, it's been a while. I haven't done any live feed uh, or any videos, not as much, not as often recently because there are a lot of stuff going on. So I think I just want to do a quick sharing, talk about Feel the Love. Like why I want to talk about it is because I usually share about something that I'm working on or I'm going through, I'm experiencing. So talking about like how I tend to, so I don't know if you are like that, but I tend to think a lot. I'm very logical and always finding ways how do I do things, right? So it's very logical way of thinking, sequential thinking. So even when it comes to like spiritual practice, energy healing, meditation, I still tend to have that hamster running, right? So what I noticed, especially like last couple of days, I've been working through something and talk about like letting go, how we have to be able to identify, recognize, and appreciate certain things happen is to propel you to a certain direction where you need to be. And once that thing or situation or person really serves that purpose, you have to kind of learn to let it go rather than trying to go back and think about why and how, what if. That has to be gone. And that's one. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, why am I having a hard time at times that I will be doing meditation that just doesn't get to the same space where I would like to be able to, not necessarily space, but to be able to have the experience with that, what I call the more desirable feeling of it. Although we should not be expecting much when we do meditation, because that's not the point of expecting anything, right? Should let go of those anticipations. But again, so I kind of keep it simple. I told myself like, well, I just want to feel love because the hamster doesn't stop, right? Even doing like breathing exercise, or mindfulness breathing. At times it works really well. At times it just doesn't really help. So trust me, you're not the only one if you run into problem. But if you're an expert, just hear me out. I tend to think, right? Tend to just do the visualization and do healing, especially when it comes to healing. So I tend to engage too much. At times I tend to overdo it. So yeah, so I'm like, you know what? Let's just feel the love, right? I just want to feel the deep love, the infinite love from the divine. Let me just feel it, experience it, so that I know that loving energy will become my whole entire being. At least that's the one thing that saved my sanity, is really I know once I'm able to experience that, this will shut off because everything will just mellow out instantly, which it just happened yesterday when I was trying to do it last night. It worked just like that. And so at that very moment I recognized, like, yeah, I have to remind myself just to feel it. We often engage our brain so often because that's what we do. We have a brain, we think, right? We plan. We think it through, devise a plan, we execute the plan. So we think, that's what we do. So when we're not aware that we've been doing that and thinking that that's very constructive things to do, think about something good, think about how I'm going to do the visualization. So it's all thinking, which is way too much that I cannot just shut it. So now back to simplicity. When I decide to go back to the simple way to do it, which is, let me just feel it. Let me just feel that vibration. Let me just be in that vibration. Let me just be. Instead of thinking about everything else. When you read a lot, when you learn a lot, you tend to want to engage the brain. And that's where I noticed that, I'm doing it again. So slow down. Don't think too much. Let's just feel it. So the feeling part becomes let's just say a new focus for me, and it's really helpful because it really shifts the whole energy instantaneously. That it makes my heart, I can feel in my heart center, and all the stuff is what I call it, having a hard time to release or let go. all those stuff is much, much easier just to really to be released, and I just surrender it, right? So I think that we have to kind of remind ourselves when we are doing, whether you're doing a yoga practice or meditation or quasi like healing, right? With no matter what modalities that you're using, sometimes you want to really keep it simple at times, so that you can engage your senses, like you're engaging that part of you just to be and feel the energy. Because once your body able to recognize, to be able to feel that energy is coming in, the action speaks louder. Let me just say it that way. Action speaks louder. When you are physically feeling the shift, internally, externally, all around you, like you feel that shift and feel that change, it feels good, then it's just make it easier to try to convince your brain. Your brain will be like, oh, okay. Because the divine healing part of the energy coming in, well, what is divine energy? Is the divine love. So when you're able to feel that through you, all over you, the brain will just be calm. Like, you don't have to tell your brain what to do. You don't have to visualize anything. It just does it. I think this is going back to the fundamentally so important, even for many, many people, that they are so technical. They think about the steps and how and what you need to do. We think like a 3-density way of thinking, right? We're very self-aware, we are very self-reflective, we do a lot of all those thoughts, right? Sometimes it's just way too much. That's what I ran into lately. So again, I learned to like, hey, stop the affirmation for a moment, stop the incantation for a moment, just be, and let's just feel the energy, let's just feel the fresh air, let's just and once you can feel the energy, like, whoa, everything else will shift. Like it shifts on its own. It's pretty amazing. I don't know how to describe it. You know, when you learn, as we're learning, we're reading more, we're practicing more, we're trying out different things and trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work, what is more in alignment with you. Through the process, we still very much think like a normal human being, because we are, you know, at least we're in this physical body, so this is how we process things. But it can be easily get carried away, and without realizing, sometimes things can be very easily done and we'll forget about it. But again, so this is exactly what I really want to share, something that kind of like my silly aha moment, like, hey, just chill, just feel it, just be in that frequency. You don't have to think about anything, you don't have to visualize anything, just be, just feel it, just be there and let the energy just to flow, and you feel it from inside out and all around you. That is such a good feeling, because that, let alone, it's so healing. That, let alone, even I'm talking right now, for those of you who may be able to sense, even watching this video, and I'm feeling energy all over me right now, just because part of my brain is talking to you. At the same time, I can feel the energy, right? So we want to be able to fine-tune the balance. I'm not saying like don't think. No, there's a reason why we want to have the brain. The brain is able to help us to be able to get things done, right? At the same time, we don't want to overdo in that part, nor over just being in the frequency, in that vibration that, oh, I'm gonna just stay here, I'm not gonna do anything. No, we really have to. I think that's the art of living, is to find the balance. You want to stay in touch and be in alignment whenever you want it. At the same time, don't lose touch of the fact that you are in this physical body, so you definitely need to use your brain. Right? the mental faculty is very important for being a human being living in this physical world, in this reality. So it's just really, it's an ongoing learning curve. And at times you feel like I'm doing pretty well as a human being, and then you lost track of the other side, and then vice versa. You feel like you're really getting in touch with all this is like, wow, wonderful energy, powerful energy. It's very high vibration. I can see a lot of inner seeing, can sense a lot of energy shifting and raising the vibration. You can see different colors. You can have a lot of images, a lot of downloading, but at the same time, you just don't do much of a mental work. It's let's just call it cyclic. If you cannot maintain the balance, at least we know that at some point when you're doing so much of a spiritual work, you gotta balance it by doing some more like physical work to keep it up, keep bringing it up. So yeah, it's a great learning curve, and I didn't realize how much I've been thinking. I think it's because just the work that I do and tend to use the brain more often, just like a normal human being, and then so lost track on the other end, which is like very simple, like just feel, just breathe, like really breathe into it. It's very intentional, and that intentional effort makes a big difference. And so when we say the power of prayer, same thing. It's very intentional. So when you're able to do that, you'll be able to feel the experience of the power of prayer, as much as talk about energy healing or anything else. Anyways, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye.